this is how I changed my identity to build better habits and systems in my life. First, I'm going to talk about who I was before, what changed, and then the new habits that I was able to form after that. And then I'm going to give you a simple 3-step framework for you to be able to copy for yourself and get the same results in life. This is for people who want more out of life, who want better habits, realize they need to make a change, realize there's more out of life, and maybe you're struggling making that change. Maybe for some reason they're stuck in a rut, stuck in their old ways, just can't get out, feel overwhelmed, feel stuck. So this is a quick, simple framework that I've developed because I've used it myself, to change your identity, which changes your behaviors, which changes your habits, which changes your results. All right. So I made a few YouTube shorts. Maybe you've checked those out. Maybe you're here because of one of those YouTube shorts. But those are just a piece of the puzzle. This is designed to be a little bit more of a deeper dive and actually give you some foundational information to be able to change what's going on in your brain so you can have some better results in life and have more joy and just feel accomplished, feel proud of yourself and the person who you are. All right, so first, we've all gone through some sort of a journey in life. We've all, if we look back at 5, 10 years ago, it's pretty clear you are not that same person that you were. You've come across new information, you've changed habits, you stopped doing some things, you started doing new things. And while your core personality still exists, a lot of the things that you did 5 years ago, you almost don't even recognize that person now. That's pretty much where I'm at. I used to do a lot of different things 5, 10 years ago than I do now. Okay. And what really changed is an identity shift. If I look back, something decided to be put in my path. Maybe God put it in my path, or maybe I just decided to change my identity. But there was some sort of a catalyst that changed my identity. And once that identity changed, the habits and behaviors automatically changed after that. Okay. So one of the things that I used to do frequently, is getting chopped. Okay, getting high. We're smoking weed every day. Okay, we're smoking weed. We're using the nicotine pouches, and we're playing video games. Okay, and so now we're in this dopamine cycle of doing these things, and every single day we go to bed and we wake up feeling like shit. We feel, I felt like shit. I feel like life sucks. No motivation. I just feel stuck in a rut. Like, man, like if I can't even do anything, I might as well just dope out on the dopamine. And ultimately, was just this cycle of a life that sucks. Okay. Now, now I just want to clarify. I have not done. I've not got high since I started a YouTube channel. Okay. I have literally. It's been over a year, maybe 15, 16 months now, since I've even touched marijuana. Okay. So I have some tangible result here of quitting a behavior via a new identity. Okay. And the identity isn't changing you in its entirety, it's looking at yourself in a different light and deciding what person do I want to be when I look in the mirror. So that's what I want to talk about, is the identity that we have. It is, who am I? What storyline do I tell myself? The previous storyline that I was telling myself is that I can't make a change in my life, so why even try? I can't make a change in my life. I felt stuck. I can't make the identity is that I am powerless. So why even try to make a change? Okay. That is the identity. I am powerless. I'm an individual who, you know what? I want better things, but I have no way to attain it. That's part of the identity. I have no way to attain it. So why even try? Might as well just play video games and do this. Like, and you know what? I'm not even going to try. Okay. And that was just kind of a rut that I was stuck in. And the way that I was able to overcome that is via point number two here, which I will get to in a second. But before we get into that, the first step is getting real with ourselves, okay? We have to look ourselves in the mirror, and instead of telling ourselves this narrative that may not even be true, we need to tell ourselves the real story. We need to get a crystal clear picture of what are we dealing with here, okay? If I feel stuck, I need to tell myself that I feel stuck. I need to tell myself the truth about my situation. The truth of my situation was that I was striving and trying to accomplish things in life and it wasn't working. And I decided to cope with some dopamine. Okay. And so that's why I hate dopamine. I hate artificial dopamine because I know what it can do to a person. And I know that when we use dopamine the correct way and use it to motivate ourselves to perform tasks, we feel better about ourselves. And instead of being in a rut, we live a life that is full of momentum. And when our head hits the pillow at the end of the night, you don't feel like I messed up today. You feel like, you know what? Today was a good day. Okay? Today was a good day and I accomplished a lot. Okay? So, step one, we need to get real with ourselves, okay? We need to absolutely just get crystal clear and be real with who we are, okay? If I view myself as somebody who can't do anything, if I view myself as somebody who is a lazy, unhealthy person, if that's the identity that I view myself with, then my actions are going to follow that. But in order to change that identity, we need to get real with the real story, okay? We can't be telling ourselves a fake story of, oh, I'm going to be successful one day, and when the all of our actions are not aligned with that behavior. So I can't be telling myself this lie of I'm going to be a millionaire. Yeah, it's just not my time yet. God's going to make me a millionaire and I'm getting high every day and using nicotine and playing video games. That identity is not my true identity. It's a false construct. It is a fake identity. It's a story that I'm telling myself about who I am and what's going to happen when the reality is it's just a delusion. Okay. So, what I needed to do was really just come to that point of getting real with myself and looking in the mirror and saying, I'm a fucking loser. I am. I am a fucking bum. Okay. And that is where I needed to get at. Okay. That point where you realize that that is what you are. Okay, where you look in the mirror and you tell yourself the truth. The Bible says the truth sets you free. Okay, when we get to the truth, it sets us free. Okay, because it's step one, tell ourselves the truth. Okay, now step two is we need some sort of a catalyst. We need what I call pain or pleasure. We need a pain point or a pleasure point. Okay, and here's an example of one or two of those things. So for me, pain is when you wake up every single day and you feel like shit and you're in the rut. And for me, I'm more motivated by pain. For me, I'm more motivated by the reality that my life sucks. Okay. I wake up every day and I'm like, dude, I do not want to be this person anymore. Pain is the catalyst for me to change the identity. Okay. So step one, I realize I'm a fucking loser. Step two is I get I have to acknowledge the pain of I don't want to be this guy. I do not want to be this bum ass loser. I do not want to be making these decisions. There's more to life than this, okay? And for me, it was the pain that was the catalyst to switch the identity. Now, other people, and you could even say that they both work hand in hand. Other people work more off of a pleasure principle, okay? Their actions are creating a life that is not giving them the pleasure that they want. Okay, so a great example of this is when you see a YouTube video of a millionaire driving a Lamborghini and has a private jet and beautiful women. Okay, and we now see the pleasure of that, and we see that lifestyle that we want. It's like, dude, you know what? That's a better way. Or you see somebody with a family and they've got kids and they have a loving wife, and they care about the people around them, and they're in a community, and you're just sitting there in your bedroom alone, and we have that pleasure, that dream. We could call it a dream. Okay, the pleasure is a dream that motivates us to change, and the pain is a nightmare that motivates us to change, and we could simultaneously have both. But for me, it's more, I'm more motivated by pain. I'm more motivated by this sucks. I hate the person that I am. Okay, and it's not, it's just being real. I do not want to be this guy. This is not the way I want to end my story. Okay, and we make the decision, to change our identity. Okay, so first we've been real with ourselves. Number two is we have this inflection point, we have this catalyst where we experience pain or pleasure. You pull up to the guy at the gas station and he's got this really nice Bentley, and it's like, dude, wow, wouldn't it be awesome to be that guy? And that pleasure motivates us to change. And now we realize, hey, what did that person have to do to get that thing? Or we see a homeless person and they're on crack begging for money, and we realize, if I keep doing what I'm going to do, what I'm doing right now, I'm going to be that guy. Okay? And it's that pain or that pleasure that is motivating us to make that change. Okay? So we've gotten real with ourselves about who we truly are. The reality is, if you are not getting the result, there's something wrong with your identity right now. There's something wrong with your identity, and we need to change it. There's not something wrong with you objectively as a person. You're not broken. You're not unfixable. You are just living in an identity that is not the identity that you want to live in. Okay? So I was living in an identity. My identity was XYZ, and it wasn't what I wanted to be living in. So when we get real with that and experience pain or pleasure, we can now change. Okay? So the third step here is the construction phase. Okay? So instead of saying, I got real, I'm a fucking loser, man, and I don't want to be the fucking loser. I don't want to be that guy. Okay? I want to be a winner. I want to be somebody who's proud of the life that they live. I want to be somebody who has great relationships, who has financial abundance, who has success, who helps people. Okay? And what I needed to do was construct that new person that I wanted to be. Now, here's the thing. I want to clarify, you're not changing yourself. You're not being inauthentic, okay? You are being authentic with the reality that your life sucks. I would say you're being inauthentic when you're living this delusion, but when we get real, when we are authentic with ourselves and realize, you know what? God created me to be more than this, that's when things change, okay? It's not that I'm not making a fake version of myself, if that makes sense. I'm not constructing a fake version of myself. I'm actually just becoming more aligned with who God created me to be, is the best way that I would describe that. So what I'm doing is I'm changing my identity from somebody who is not who God created them to be to somebody who is becoming more aligned with who God created them to be, okay? And God is a good Father in heaven and gives us great gifts, and created us for a very specific purpose, and created us to be creators in his image, okay? And when we are not acting like that, we are just not being who we were created to be. So when we're changing our identity, what we're really doing is we're going from not who God wanted us to be or created us to be, not the best version of ourselves, to getting closer to the best version of ourselves. That's the identity shift that we're doing here, okay? And now we're constructing a life that aligns with that. Okay, it's inner clarity. It's once we get to inner clarity, we can make a shift. Okay, the clarity of not being who we want to be and wanting to be a better version of ourselves and experiencing pain or pleasure that gets us to change. Okay, that pain or pleasure is a good thing. All right, a great example of this is somebody who's like a drunk driver and then crashes their car and maybe hurts somebody. Um, they were not living the life they should be living, and now they had that painful experience. Maybe they're in prison for a little bit, and that is that catalyst that changes their identity from I'm a drunk driver, drunk driving's cool, to oh, you know what, drunk driving's not cool. I don't want to be somebody who does this. That hurts people. Okay, that's that identity shift that I'm trying to talk to you about today. So what we're doing really when we change our identity is going from not who God created us to be into more like who God created us to be, if that makes sense. Okay, and the fruit of the Spirit, or the fruit of living in alignment with God, is love, joy, peace, patience, long suffering, gentleness, kindness. Um, about these things, there is no law against these things, is what the Bible says. Okay, so we need to construct this new identity, and if we look in the Bible, just at a story, just from a story point, we can look at Paul. Okay, so Paul's previous identity was I'm a religious leader. Hell yeah, I'm a cool dude. I have power. I'm a religious leader. Okay, he experienced a catalyst that took him from religious leader to who was not living in alignment with God to somebody who experienced God, had a catalyst, maybe a pain or pleasure experience where he experienced the Spirit of Christ and then changed his identity to a servant of Christ. And when his identity shifted, his behavior shifted. Okay. He always talks about, I think Paul was like killing Christians or something like that. His previous identity was, I kill Christians. I'm a religious leader. I need to control and be a religious leader and create order or whatever he's doing, to I am now a servant of God and I am here to set people free from the bondage of their sin. And we could even say sin is not living in alignment with who we were created to be. Okay, so what we're doing is constructing a new person now. So once we've gotten real about our identity and we've experienced some pain or pleasure, and if we need to, if we haven't experienced that pain or pleasure, maybe you need to, okay? Watch some videos about people that have the life that you want to have, whatever it is. Maybe you just want to be the best carpenter. Watch somebody build the best table ever, okay? Or watch what happens to people who continue in your ways. If you're, let's just say, drinking every day, that's your current state. I just want to clarify, I'm not trying to shame anyone here. There's no shame with this. We're just getting real, okay? We're getting real so we can make a change. I'm not dissing because we've all done bad things. We're changing our identity here. Okay. So wherever you're at, I want to encourage you that that is okay and that is a great thing right now. But we just need to get real with who we're at, who we are and where we're at. Okay. If you've been drinking every day, why don't you watch some videos about what people who drink every day, what result they get out of life? Okay. Maybe that pain will cause you to change. Okay. But let's get into the construction phase here. So construction, we need to change our identity now, and we're constructing our new identity. Okay, so what's going to happen here is we're going to need to reinforce this new identity via action. So when I say, let's just say our new identity, for example, is I want to be a healthy person. I'm Nick, I'm a healthy person, okay? I need to reinforce that identity with action, okay? I'm going to go buy healthy food. I'm going to stop eating McDonald's. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to get on a constant sleep schedule, okay? I then need to also, to construct this identity, put good inputs in and avoid bad inputs. So I'm going to watch motivational gym content. I'm going to watch people that talk about healthy food and things like that. So I got the good inputs. I'm making the actions, and we're going to do self talk. I can't say to myself things like, "Oh, I'm never going to get healthy." We got to say is today I'm making the decision to be healthy. Today I'm making the decision to eat right. Today I'm making the decision to be disciplined at the gym. Okay? So that's what we're talking about. We are talking about that self-talk and being able to do that, being able to self-talk to encourage and um, reinforce these pathways. All right. And then the last thing is awareness and redirection. Okay. Awareness and redirection. Um, switch on your brain. This does a great job of talking about that. I'm going to put this in the affiliate link below. But what's happening here is she's talking about when you have a thought, because that old identity is going to creep in sometimes and say, hey man, have that beer. Hey man, you don't need to go to the gym. Hey, have those chips. Okay? So your old identity doesn't just die. It's a little bit of a process and of reinforcement in order to build this new habit and these new neural pathways. And I encourage you to check out this book, and I will receive a small commission if you buy it from the affiliate link. That's one of the ways that I can earn income. But awareness plus redirection here is when that thought pops in, hey man, go buy that beer, okay? Go buy that beer. I'm becoming aware that that is my old self talking. That is the old identity talking. And I need to redirect. I need to catch the thought and redirect it to say, hey, you know what? I really do want to have that beer, but those behaviors always made me feel like shit. All right? I really want to skip the gym, but by skipping the gym's what I've been doing for years now, and it never got me the abs I wanted. All right. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Number one, we're going to get real. Number two, we're going to experience pain or pleasure. And number three, we're going to reconstruct ourselves, and we are going to reinforce that person via action, via good inputs, avoiding bad inputs, um, and positive self talk, avoiding negative self talk. And we are going to be aware. We need to be aware of those negative thoughts and catch them. Now, here's the last thing I want to leave you with. It is 100% okay to mess up and let the old self creep in sometimes. You may have a bad day, a bad moment, a bad day, a bad week, a bad month, okay? That old self is going to try and creep in, okay? And you're not broken. You're not, like, all of your progress is not lost. It's just an opportunity for you to fall and get back up again. It says in the Bible, a righteous person falls 7 times and gets up 8, okay? So, if you are a person who wants to make a change, I want you to understand that falling down is not horrible. You're not a failure. Falling down is a part of the process. Making mistakes is a part of the process. But I want you to forgive yourself and get back up. Okay, that's what I got. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you found this video helpful. Hopefully this helped you. If it did, share it with a friend. If it didn't, leave hate comments and have a wonderful day.